There was one other thing I wanted to run by you guys real quick. It was a different camera that I had brought.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
It is a 360 camera.
Oh shit.
Whoa.
I don't even know
What does that even? What does that mean?
Sorry, man. What does that mean?
That is hilarious. A 360 camera. I'm guessing that means that you can pick up the whole room.
Yeah. To set it up, like, say, middle of the table or something like that, that's not too distracting. You record from there, and then through, like, YouTube or something like that, someone can come back and watch that, and they can actually control what they're looking at.
Oh, wow,
This
dude.
blew my mind a little
That's
bit.
a little bit of a level up right there, guy.
That is a level up. Okay.
Like, man, I can creep on this guy while he's supposedly listening to the podcast, but really, he's just picking his nose. What's the deal? That is so funny, man.
Cool. Yeah, I'd love to try it out. How do we set it up? How does it get set up? So it's on its own tripod. Okay, cool. So it'll be on the ground then, and come up. Does it go that high? Or?
It doesn't go that high. It'd probably need to be on the table.
Okay.
If that's not too distracting.
No. We're pretty comfortable now with cameras in our face for the most part. Hey, Vern?
Huh?
Oh God.
You're like,
I see where this episode's going.
nah, dude. We're good. We're good.
I'm totally bugging you.
It might take us a few minutes to get into the rhythm here, but it's a great morning. I can tell you that. Dude, I was thinking about this morning. Is like, as I'm waking up, the house is totally quiet. I'm thinking, this is it, man. Saturday mornings, this is what you do.
Yeah.
Every fucking week, you just get up and you go and do it. And you make a fucking kick-ass podcast. You put it out. You have fun. Right? Creating an experience, man. This is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's get right back.
I'm tempted to sing like a Christmas song rendition of, what is it? Because this is beginning to look a lot like a podcast studio. Do you see where I'm going?
Yes.
Because did you poke your head in here
I did not.
Thursday?
No.
Because I'm assuming, I don't think David had it set up like that Thursday. This would be 0.04, like how this is set up right here, probably the fourth version of how we had the studio set up. Maybe even the fifth. And then this with this right here, all your stuff, that's a huge level up. I was just saying too to Aaron, like this here is version like at least probably 8 for us, because we started, I can't remember all of them, but you know what I mean. We had the single table, we had it here, we had it over there with the 2 bench seats.
Posters printed. Put them up on the wall for next time.
To get some visual.
I want to get a set. I want to start putting this might be something that we could like document and film together as a thing to do to create a sound deck or something on the wall.
Actually, that's something that you and I should actively do. You and I should be actively making a lot of Vern content.
Yeah, totally. We should be right. All right.
Oh, I'm glad you're on that side.
What do you mean?
Wow.
Because you can't lift your leg that high. He's doing martial arts.
Hold on, dude. Don't go there, because then I'll get all weird and start fucking throwing jump kicks and shit.
Well, let's not do that here.
Heavyweight.
This is crazy.
That is not distracting at all. No, I love that, man. Look at that. No way. Dude, that's really cool. Is that as low as it goes?
Unfortunately, yeah, it's a fixed thing.
Oh, okay.
I can get a hold of another like smaller tripod to throw underneath there.
Either that or if you
Or I
want
can
to
actually just drop it all the way down, just so it's like.
you fucking drill a hole right into the middle of the podcast table. Hey, man. Do what you got to do, bro.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That'll still catch us. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Nice. Cool.
This is, oh wow, look at that.
I feel like it's like a little robot.
It does look like a little robot.
He's
So cool, man.
he's observing. He's making sure that we're on track and on target.
So Aaron can actually now let us know if this mic is too close to my face or whatever. You can actually like.
Yeah, you can let us know that.
That is.
Like, Vern, could you please?
Hey Vern,
get closer to the mic?
These chairs always make me feel like a little kid, so I kind of like them because I'm not used to feeling little, except for when I go pee.
This is gonna be a good episode,
Dude, you got me all on track with this comedy idea right now. I'm so appreciative, man, of you. You know that? Big
Sometimes
time.
I need a reminder of it.
I should probably let you know more often, bro.
Yeah. That came very clear yesterday when I did the piece at Creative Mornings and just really getting connected to people at a level I've never ever been connected at. So yeah, getting connected to people and allowing people to, like, creating the space for someone to say, I really appreciate this.
Dude, that was so awesome.
It was crazy.
The whole thing, it was actually surreal for me, man. It was like almost like
Surreal for you, dude.
no, I know. That's what I mean. It was like,
Crazy.
that's what I'm imagining for you. You must have been just like, because I was kind of like feeling your vibe, man. You really inspired me, man. Like the whole thing we're talking about right now, comedy, public speaking, that stuff that I was bringing up and making public, that's only because I saw you do that, man.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, bro. Like,
Well,
amazing.
Mike was like blown away. So Mike Stanfield from Summer Love.
Yeah, he spoke 3 times after.
Yeah.
Just to say, actually, I don't have a question. And then he just went into like this gratitude of how, you know. So that's actually how I'd like to start the podcast, is with some acknowledgement.
Thanks, bro.
Well, I haven't started yet.
I know. I'm just like in my head. Say thank you.
And right now in my mind, I'm like, I feel like we're live.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's not how a
That's
podcast works.
so funny how it goes.
There's these
Get
comedy
it right,
guys.
man. Just get it right.
I was listening to these guys doing a comedy bit on their podcast, and that's exactly what they were saying. They're like, there's nothing live about a podcast. So, because there's their buddy Brian Callen, he was saying that in the intro, he says, we're coming at you live. And the other guy's like, dude, we're not live. And he's like, live from Cala Vista, California. I just kept saying it. Anyway, they're making fun of how crazy this guy is. And you can't even tell if they're telling the truth or just doing a bit or not. It's just like, anyway.
Before you get into it,
Yes, I'm just trying to like. Get
we
my
have
thoughts.
we have a special guest that is not a guest and is coming to play with us. Has got this arsenal available to him that I'm so super grateful for. I just want to say welcome, Aaron.
Hello.
He's in the background. He has a huge passion for audio and has generated some interest to like just explore and play with us.
And Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, but this 360 camera is actually picking you up as well.
We'll probably end up having to take the audio from the podcast to just put back to
But he sees you too.
No, I mean it sees
it'll
you.
see me as well. What that is, it's 270-degree fisheye lenses, and then you stitch the overlap together to
Oh,
do
wow.
a 360 video.
Okay, so man, I'm so blown away right now.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Blown away,
I'm really
dude.
grateful for you to be here,
Yes,
Aaron.
Aaron. Thank you, man.
It
This is
actually
amazing.
creates a space that was never available for me because I was always I always had to make sure of, and I was preoccupied by.
And how is that for
making
you?
sure
Man? That's awesome.
Everybody's heard, and we're not redlining and all of that stuff. And now I don't know what it's like for me yet because I have not experienced it yet. Right? It's always been there. It's always been a thing to do. So this is going to be brand new because I actually get to be truly 100% present inside of a conversation.
Which, dare I say, that in and of itself levels the shit up, bro.
Yep. Hands down. Hands down. All right. You're good to go, my friend. I'm listening.
This is... Tell me more, tell me more. This is a great segue, man, because, excuse me, Aaron being here, right, this amazing 360
we should give him a name.
Yeah, I am looking. It does look like a little cyborg or a robot or
Yeah,
something.
he's got like a little personality. We'll have to
Yeah.
think of a name for him.
Yeah, totally. He's got to have a name.
The working title right now is the Pokeball.
The Pokeball?
The Pokeball.
It seems a bit impersonal, though.
It does, but you know.
We could call him Pokey.
Yeah, there we go.
Pokey.
Pokey the ball.
Pokey.
Pokey the ball. I like that. It's cute.
That's so
and
great.
he's
dude.
cute.
That is so
It's
great.
cute.
Pokey the ball. I have so many thoughts going through my head right now. It's unbelievable.
Let's not go there.
No. Pokey.
Maybe I went there.
Maybe you
Yeah,
went
yeah.
there. That's so great. I meant like actually in general. I have like so many thoughts going through my head right now. I've got Pokey the ball sitting here in front of me.
So
This-
we're episode 47, right?
Episode 47, man. I'm just getting present right now to. I'm just super incredibly grateful, man, for our friendship. So incredibly grateful because I realized that I love doing this. Last night we had such a great time being out we had some drinks.
We were like out for the whole day.
we spent
Almost like to the point where like, should we be sick of each other yet?
Yeah, it's like, so you guys just want to have a sleepover or something? Like, this is weird. Yeah, man, we started out 8:30. I saw you,
Yeah.
and then it was like we had our call at noon or 12:30, and then we met at 6:00.
Yep.
2 hours at the axe throwing.
Battle axe.
Battle
Which I sucked ass at. Oh my god, it was so brutal.
It was unfortunate, man. I certainly wasn't going to coach you, but you know what we should do? You and I, we should go there sometime.
I would actually really love to be able to do that with ease.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you and I go, dude, you'll leave there fucking burying that thing.
Totally.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. Well, and the pressure of the whole environment and that coach, he sucked. He wasn't very good.
Oh my god, dude.
He's just like wanted to get everybody through.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And he was all like, shout out to the girl on the other side.
Oh, she was
like
awesome.
Night and day. She was telling people who was on deck, and the other guys just, like, at the time when they're supposed to be playing, he's banging on the benches and shit, being like, "Where's Brian?"
Oh, yeah.
Dude, what the fuck?
I felt like I was in a medieval
Who are you, guy?
throwback into medieval times.
Right? He's like, let's go. Every time it was time to throw, he's like, let's go. And I looked at him like, bro, I got this. Like, I would
You
just
need to sit
purposely take
down.
my time. Oh my god.
Yeah, so it was a full night.
was a full night.
Of connection and creating and yeah.
Yeah, it was a great, I had an amazing day yesterday, and you were present for virtually all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So isn't that interesting? And yesterday we were talking about, again, how we met, right? And I'm sure we shared that on the podcast before, but it was literally through an experience of like humanity.
Mm-hmm.
We were put in a situation where we were literally told, hey, you two look at each other and don't look away.
That's right.
It's like, oh, and this is a complete stranger.
Yep.
And it's an interesting thing to think about what are the potential connections that can be made in that situation. Maybe not many. So what does that mean about us? Now I'm going way down the rabbit hole. Like, we're boys, man.
Mm-hmm.
And we're meant to meet.
Right. I agree with that 100%.
We're here to do something bigger. And as I look around here, man, I swear to God, dude, I'm actually, swear to the higher power of your choice. Pardon me.
I was going to say.
Right? Like, hashtag progressive. But I'm just so grateful for this, man. And I just realized that none of this would be possible without you, man. You've done so much work, and just being a part of this journey with you has meant so much to me. And I'm actually, this morning I had like this epiphany. I woke up and I was like, this is amazing. Like, I just had this feeling. This is so great. Like, The air was crisp. Like, everything worked out, too. The timing, I'm like, oh, breakfast? Remember I talked about what I got for breakfast?
Yeah.
Instead of driving to the drive-thru and getting that shitty food, man, I brought, like, a protein shake and yogurt and fruit and stuff. It's like, oh, you know, like, okay, now what does that look like if I did that every Saturday? And that's another part of it, dude. Like, you're connected to all that. Our relationship, our families, all that's connected. And there's a whole bunch of other factors, right? But what I'm saying is, like, our friendship has literally transformed the course of my life. I dare I say the both of our lives.
Yep.
Right? But
Yep.
I mean, and what we're capable of together clearly is not even tapped yet. Right?
It is completely untapped.
Not even tapped, man.
And I got connected to that yesterday.
And I'm not done. But go ahead.
Right. You know what? I got connected to that yesterday, so I'm just going to put a pin in that. You keep going.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I hope this. I can't use words to shower the gratitude that I feel in general right now. You've so leveled this thing up, man. We went from a one little mic, and what's cool about it is we got video, we've got documentation of the whole fucking journey, guy, the whole ride.
Yeah, it's all there in some way. Yeah. And
it's awesome.
And despite the ongoing story that I continue to have always had, don't bother doing that. Don't bother setting it up. It's not worth it. You're not going to use it.
Yeah, of course.
And what happens?
And who the fuck cares?
And who cares?
Right.
And what happens is down the road, there is a wanting to reflect back and get reconnected to it. And if I do it, the opportunity is available. That I'm getting really connected to the value of what is perceived as not valuable in the moment.
Not valuable in the moment.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
But look at the ripple effect.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
Totally.
Now,
I forget about that so easily.
Yeah.
It's just a thing that I do, you know?
You're the one who pushed me to document. And then I started to encourage you, right? It goes back and forth now. I'm like, dude, why are we not filming this?
Totally. That accountability is so critical.
And I love the fact, like, here's what I'm saying, man. There's no way I'd even be doing, even when I'm on my own, Instagram video or a live feed to Facebook, bro, I would not be doing that at the level that I do it if it wasn't for you, man. Like, you, wow.
Yeah, holy shit. That's how I felt yesterday, by the way.
I've said this before. You've always looked at me from my future at my highest potential. And I really appreciate it, man. And you're driving me to do bigger things.
Oh, you're welcome. And you deserve it.
Like, it's so strange. Why can't I just let that, like, I have this knot right in my heart.
Yeah.
It's like, I gotta let that go, man.
Dude,
working on acupuncture, man. I'm doing hypnotherapy. Guys, I'm trying to get into this subconscious, man. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck's going on up here. This is why I want to do comedy, man, because I want to just go up and poke fun at humanity and my experiences and just tell that story and be like, can you guys see the ridiculousness in this with me, please?
Yes.
How fucking ridiculous is this? It's crazy.
Well, and that happened with everybody yesterday.
Yes.
So I really appreciate, and I'm not surprised at the vulnerability that you're always willing to put on the table, and I totally get that it is a hard thing for men to do for lots of reasons. We talk about it all the time, and I really thank you for putting that on the table and having me get regrounded to my possibility, like the thing that I really get lit up by and inspired by, and yesterday was a testament to that. Every person that I looked at as I was sharing my piece yesterday, and for those that aren't aware, yesterday was my creative morning talk. I will be posting that.
I cannot wait to see the response to that thing, dude.
It'll
bro.
be cool,
That's
and
going
this is
on-
just the beginning of it, you know.
That's gonna
week.
We're also gonna that's gonna be a production through the GYST as well, right? On the
We are
the YouTube
so
channel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Day One Media, they're the guys who support Creative Mornings.
Okay, cool.
So they'll produce the one for Creative Mornings, but then I want to do a different one that is just a different production. Anyways, not to go down that rabbit hole too much, but in sharing this piece, my journey inside of spoken word as a style of sharing the story. It wasn't just me up there speaking for 20 minutes about my story. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just I am always wanting to do it differently. And even though every voice in my head's like, you shouldn't do it differently.
Yeah, just do it.
You
like
might
everybody
fuck it
else.
up.
That's one thing you and I are on the same wavelength of, bro. Right? Here comes the current. You and I are like, why don't we walk up the stream instead? All the fish are going that
what
way.
would happen?
What's up there?
Yeah. Sometimes to our detriment, but for the most part,
Fair
there
enough.
is an unexpected surprise, the treasure box that was there up the creek just 10 feet and going, dude, look what we just found.
Everyone's just flowing by that.
Everybody's missing it. And yesterday was that treasure for me. There was this thing that I got to create and be a part of with 60 other people, and the exercise in being present with people that I knew and people that I didn't know, and just creating it the way I want to create it. So there's people out there who are constantly asking and inquiring about why I do this. Why does David do a podcast? Like what's the point? What's the end goal? What are you trying to achieve? And this has been usually people asking Maya, not me specifically. And she's like, he just loves the idea of and the ability to do whatever he wants his way. And that's it. And some people are left with like,
Yep.
but there isn't more to that, like. And there could be, and there is, and look what we're constantly doing. There's always more being added, but that I got when we met on Thursday, when everybody came over on Thursday, it is about creating in the moment, all the time, creating in the moment. And guess what happens? There is something that gets built. And then we look at it and we go, oh my God, that looks like a house. You know what a house could use? And then we start to add the necessary things,
man.
and it's getting stronger.
That's exactly what has been created here.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever it was, 3-4 years ago, the idea. I didn't even know what a podcast was. Man, we should do a podcast. We should do a podcast.
So funny because it's like 20-year-old technology.
Right. That's what's so amazing about podcasting, though, man, is I talk to people that don't even know what podcasting is. And there's like 100,000. I don't even know how many podcasts there are there, but there's a lot. But then you get connected to, there's 7 billion people on the planet, and everyone likes a different flavor. And there's a lot of crossover and overlap in there.
Totally.
And there's such a great opportunity to share yourself and to be vulnerable and to have fun, right? This is the funnest thing I've ever done. And I'm like, this is the life. I want this to be my life. And then yesterday, I think you and I, well, it must have been you and I that talked about it. Okay, well, what if I just did more of that?
Yeah, you were
Like in my business too. Like I want to speak,
Yeah.
I want to create, I want to share, I want to teach. What? Okay, so I could just speak and share.
Look at the
and teach.
conversation Heather was having with herself yesterday.
That was amazing, man. But that's the beauty of our 3. We've talked about that too, right? Our
Yeah, the
Unmessables
triad.
group, the triad. The perspective, because it's like talking to yourself, coaching her through that. What did she say? Oh, I don't know what I would speak on. I go,
Which kind of blew us
burst
away,
out
right?
into laughter. I go, you got to be joking me right now.
Yeah.
Heather, are you serious?
Yeah.
it's like me saying I don't know what I would write comedy bits about.
Yeah, totally.
It's
And it's
such
just it's such a natural thing that we do. We discount it as like not special.
Totally.
It's like, yeah, but who would care? Who would care about me sharing my story the way I shared it yesterday? Well, evidently
Every fucking person in the room.
I had people come up and say, there was this one young girl, I can't remember what her name is now, but she's already reached out He's like, I would really love to have you speak to my husband. Because he's a designer. He's grappling with something right now. And in between her sharing that, she was fighting back the tears. And I was just like so present to humanity.
Look what you fucking did,
yeah,
man.
it was super cool, dude. I'm very grateful for
That's
that.
amazing.
My growing up as a witness, at its core, so when I talk about that there was a richness to the strictness of growing up as a witness.
Oh, shit. He's dropping some shit on y'all now.
It is because of how it connected me to humanity. That was the richness. The strictness at the other level was something that didn't work well for me, and that I was constantly up against. I wasn't able to do it my way.
Yeah.
To my point earlier, but to be connected to humanity at such a deep level, to like really get what people are, what's possible for people, and having that as now my baseline for entering into the game that is life, but not really understanding that that's what I got, right? Like as part of my tool set. This is the thing that I have, and the same thing with Heather is like, yeah, but it's nothing. Dude, that is actually what defines you. This is who you are. And it's not until yesterday that I speculated, I aspired to, I was hopeful, and you know, I would really like it to go that way. Oh, if only.
As and then you paint your brush, right?
Yeah. And but could I possibly ever like put it out there for people for it to be ridiculed and scrutinized and all the negative things that we throw in there, not taking enough time to look at the positive impact that it might have.
Oh shit! Yeah, like
right?
What the negative speculation? Always.
Since June, I was practicing that, formulating it, practicing it since June, and on a regular basis, the conversation was, "Don't bother doing it."
And you know what's amazing? What you did is you had a target, and you put that out in the universe.
Yes. With some form and structure and some necessary deadlines.
Dude, what you did yesterday with your spoken word piece is the definition of commitment. Because I heard a long time ago, John Assaraf, he, look it up. He's a real estate mogul, law of attraction guy. He's really
surprised I haven't heard of him.
John Assaraf? Oh, definitely. If you saw him, you'd recognize him likely. He was on the movie The Secret. Anyway. Okay. He said, I was watching this video when I first got into the insurance business, when I first started looking at more of this personal development and learning how to think and learning how to think. I was watching this video, and he said, there's a difference. Most people don't know what commitment means. They don't know what commitment is. And there's a difference between being committed to something and being interested in something.
Totally.
He said, if you're really interested in things, that could mean that you really love it. Like, it's a thing that's really important to you and it's a big deal. But you'll often let excuses and reasons and circumstances get in the way of you to being with that thing. But when you're committed to something, you remove all of the barriers and all of the excuses. You go to work on those things and remove them to get to that thing that you're committed to.
There's such a focus, and that was part of what I spoke about in the spoken word piece, that there is such a focus that begins to show up when we take, and it is all, in my experience, this is not scientifically substantiated, at least not, like there might be, I don't know, but in my experience, when I am aware and sensitive of the intuitive pull to a direction to go, and I honor it and I take it, something incredible always happens. Not sometimes, always happens.
Yes.
It's whether I'm aware of it.
And you look back and there's recognizable building blocks that led to said thing.
Yeah.
Perfect example. Again, our relationship is tied right into this. I just want to go into the story a little bit because, by the way, I'm still not done thanking you.
Okay.
let's go
He's
back a little bit.
He's not done yet, Aaron.
Let's go back a little bit in our story. We talked about how we met a little bit. We've talked about that in the podcast. We met at this event, right? Fast forward a little bit. You guys start doing some group coaching work.
Right.
I get invited to it. Here's the thing. The organizations and stuff like that, they have their own impact. They're having an impact too, because that is a part of the story.
Yep.
But it doesn't matter what those organizations
It
were.
could be anything.
Or exactly. So you bring me to this event. I'm like, oh, cool, whatever. But at that event, they offer a ticket to go see some speakers.
Oh, yeah, right. And you...
And I was like, yeah, whatever. I know that they do that at all these events all the time. But they name dropped a few, and they said Jack Canfield.
Right.
And it was like $300. And it was one of those deals that they were saying, oh, these are $1,500 tickets. And yeah. Like, to go see Jack Canfield for an hour, it's reasonable that you could pay $1,000.
Yeah,
right?
easily.
And just him, but it was a whole weekend. And I got a lot of value out of that. But I wanted to go see Jack Canfield. That was the pull. I'm like, yep, I spent money I didn't have. I'm in. Which, by the way, in the past, to get to where I'm at today, I've done that a lot. And that's something that I'm committed to shifting that. And as I commit to shifting that, guess what happens? More money comes in. It's really weird.
Is that a coincidence?
It's really weird. It's interesting. You start to honor the cash that you have, and more of it shows up. It's crazy. Or opportunity to acquire such.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyhow, so we go to this, I end up going out west. I went with Maya. Weirdest thing, it was so funny. I end up sharing a hotel room with 2 women. Mm-hmm. Sounds awesome.
One of which was my wife.
One of which was David's wife. I share a hotel room with 2 women. We have lunch, well, not lunch necessarily, but dinner at least together every night. And it was the most vanilla fucking experience of my life. Well, which is okay, because none of them were my wife. So anyway, the point is it sounds awesome, but it wasn't that great for at least that reason, all the cliche stuff. But we went to this event, and at that event, another shout out, there was a dude by the name of Sam Crowley. Cool speaker. And I'm actually ever so apologetic to this guy, because back then I was not really aware of, I still do this today. I think we all do this. You have a tendency to make shit about you. You want to draw attention to yourself.
Yeah.
But you don't even really necessarily know that you want to be a part of the show or something. You know what I mean? And I thought that I was actually supporting. And now that I know what I know about speaking, which is not very much, and I know what I know about comedy, which is also not very much, but to shout out or to get involved in the, like... the talk or whatever.
Were you heckling him?
Not really. So I can't even remember what happened, but there was a small interaction, and then that's all it really was. And then he kind of came back and looked at everyone, and he's like, "How far off the rails are we now?" Like, it was really not a big deal, but that's what he said. But it was funny, and everyone laughed, and then he brought it back. And I didn't even realize that when he said that, it was kind of like a really, really polite way to jab me and be like, dude, fuck off.
Sit down.
But I thought it was like part of the show. And it was a joke. And I'm like, oh, look what I did.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
It's so hilarious. Anyway.
I'm part of the show.
But he did a really great talk. And he stood everybody up. And he's like, hey, tell me what your podcast is going to be about. And I'm like, podcast? He was talking about podcasting the whole time. He has this crazy story about how he created this life from podcasting. Anyway, so that planted the seed. And then Maya and I come back and talking about it, right? And you're the fucking savvy tech fucking
dangerous
guy.
Enough to do enough, right, Aaron?
Yeah.
But
it was that other element that had to happen, right?
Yes.
You know what I mean? On my own specific journey, right?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. On your journey on the other side, podcasting has driven you to do spoken word.
Hands down. If I wasn't doing this, I would not have had the access, the freedom, the curiosity, the willingness to like step over the edge and do
all
it.
That. And you know what's at the basis of it all? The result, no matter what's ripped through the whole journey, dude, is impact on people.
Yep.
The whole way through. And your reach, our reach, is growing to have that impact.
Yep.
What if I'm going to do comedy. I'm going to try it.
Yeah, man. I think
I'm
it'd be awesome.
going to do that in 2019. I'm going to do an open mic somewhere. I'm going to try and get some material together. And I'm going to
Well, we'll connect with Dargy from Rebel because he's got exactly what you're looking for.
Yes, I'm definitely going to do that. And I'm going to look for access to speaking, learn how to speak. I want to tell stories, man. I want to grab people. I want to have some impact. What you did yesterday was amazing. I mean, and you and I have both done things like that. And you've had an impact on one individual here and there. Yeah. But what you see what's possible. Okay, what if you multiplied that group? What if there was 5,000 people in that room? And they all got something. I don't know what's going on with Pokey, man. That's weird. Is it like a battery warning or something?
I think so.
Pokey's talking to us. Oh, dude, that was awesome.
The point is there will never be enough great people telling their story. Ever.
Right.
And you and I have it that
there's so many people doing it.
So many people doing it, and who cares?
We're doing the same thing.
Heather, it's regurgitated.
This is for you. You're not you're not going to do it the same way. Any of your mentors have done it. It is impossible for you to be able to do it that way.
Yeah, and everything is borrowed, and everything's been created, guys. Basically, at this point, we're pretty much.
Unless you're at the cutting edge of technology and genetic science, you know what I mean?
Even ideas. I listened to Vishen was talking about this on the podcast I was listening to on the way over here. He's talking about how, I think it was Thomas Edison, he says ideas are in space. So if you give yourself time to think and to create and get to different levels of consciousness, like quite literally different, what do you call it? Whatever, brainwave functions and shit like that. And I'm not a fucking scientist, okay? But you get yourself to a different level of consciousness and you allow ideas to flow and think. And then if you dare to act on those ideas, shit starts to happen.
Here's the thing that I'm going to push it back to you. Because you said something really cool, interesting, typical.
Thanks, man.
And that is that I'm going to go look for some courses. I want to get some training. I want to learn how to be a speaker. And I say, you've already got everything you need. And not to diminish the value that would bring to the table, because
right.
But I have no experience in writing poetry. In speaking in front of people. I mean, I got a little bit of experience growing up, when I did, but that is not something I put on my resume.
Thing. I don't think you came knocking on the door, dropping fucking slam.
Oh, dude, how people. Crazy would that be?
That would be legit, eh?
Yeah,
that'd be a good way for enrollment.
My point is, you have, and I've seen you speak, and you have this superpower of being able to, in the moment, just create something. And I poked Vern yesterday.
Oh, that was awesome.
Out of curiosity to see what you would do.
Dude, you did nothing. But you did something.
But I intended to do it that way.
I know, but that's my point. Is what I mean is would that have happened with another person or a stranger or whatever?
Right.
I find that so interesting. I just got a message. It was all he did was look over, Aaron. He goes like this. He was about this far away too. This guy is up at the front of the room, and this guy, Stefan. He's at the front of the room introducing the whole thing, and then he says, "Oh, by the way, we're a contribution to community."
Yeah. Who's got something?
Yeah, he's like, does anybody here have anything they want to share, essentially, to enroll? That's amazing. He's like, 4 or 5 people stood up and talked about their thing, and they're like, yeah, if anyone's interested in that, come talk to me.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I said, jumped the gun. I'm sitting there thinking, he goes, oh, does anybody have anything going on? Yada, yada. I'm just sitting there. Right? And then I just look over, I glance at David, he goes, that's all he did. Gives me an eye look and an eyebrow raise, like one of these, and I go, raise my hand.
He just raises his hand
right away. I just raised my hand. I didn't even know what I was gonna say yet, but it was I trusted.
Yeah.
I don't even know. You just gave me an eye raise, and I'm like, yeah, why not? But what? I could have stood up and been like, I think this is what bombing feels like. Because I got nothing.
What was awesome though is, and I know it because I see it, and I know how you operate. There is a power that you have, and be like, okay, I've got a few moments to create something for people, and what's on top of my mind. Yeah. And it could have gone one of two ways. You could have talked about your infinite banking, or you could have talked about the GYST Life. You ended up going in a direction that just felt natural based on the community, whatever it was that was just naturally you evaluating your environment, and then you introduced it, and it was brilliant, and it was like, I had no idea. I didn't know what you were gonna say. I was totally fucking with you. I'm like, dude, if somebody else would be watching me watching you, it would go like this. So for probably 30 seconds, I'm looking at you.
I can picture it too. Like
I'm looking and I'm waiting. I'm like,
is he gonna look at me?
Vern, just like mind meld, you know, like I must get him to look. And then finally you look. I'm like,
sorry. It was brilliant. I have a story about my laugh, by the way. But when I get going, that is so funny to me because of the way that I know you too, and for you to be doing that is so hilarious.
It would have been super funny to see it from another angle. You're like, what's Dave doing?
Yeah, what's he doing? Yeah,
he's like looking at this guy and eyeing him down.
Yeah, it was probably within like 1 second. You give me the eyes, and I just put my hand up.
Yeah, dude, it was immediate.
So weird. It was almost like and then I just stood up and impromptu did like I would say like maybe 30-second.
Yep.
Pitch about
what we're up to
at the
perfectly
GYST Life.
Fitting inside of the environment that you're in. Like that is and this is my point, to like circle it right back. You've got everything you need to be able to speak powerfully in front of people. I've seen you speak, like way back when we first met. There was an ease that you have, one that I'm going to say, and it's probably bullshit, but I have this story that it really takes something for me to get easy in front of a crowd. But then I look at yesterday and I'm going, is it though? Because I even segued into the conversation trying to get them. And by the way, next time I do this,
that was like profesh, by the way. But anyway,
thanks.
Go ahead.
Next time I do this, I need the people that I know near the back of the room.
Perfect.
To generate and hold the space for the rest of the people.
Yes.
Because so here's the thing that I did, Aaron. I don't know, have you ever listened to any spoken word before?
Not really.
So I'm pretty new to it as well. Only within the last 8 months have I really been exploring it and playing and being intrigued by it. It's what had me on this whole tangent. And I had watched this one, and this guy was talking. And then there was this noise in the background, and it was like staggered on top of each other. So it was super subtle. And every time he said something that was like really intriguing, interesting, it would show up, and there'd be a little bit of hooting and hollering, but super low key. Like, what is just that noise? Yeah. And it turns out there was like 20 people who would snap their fingers in unison when they heard something that they really appreciated. And so I tried to create that with the group of Creative Mornings.
What do you mean you tried? Hold on, are you downplaying that whole thing? Because you said something to me earlier today that you're like, yeah, well, I tried, but whatever. And I was like, and I heard it, but then I didn't respond to it, and I was like, wait a minute, was he just like making that like that wasn't a thing? What do you mean, dude? I heard that. I want to hear the video. I hope the audio is good. That was happening.
It was happening.
Moments,
absolutely.
And there was only, well, not only, there was 30?
Here's my point of the trying.
It was like
there is a hesitancy and an uncertainty inside the crowd. And I'm not discrediting the crowd. Okay. What I see as the opportunity though is for people that I know, like if Wakefield would have been there, he would have held the space for that type of energy to be available for people.
He would have allowed it.
Yes. There was a resistance for most people. Again, this is the whole point of my piece. I talk about it.
Yeah.
And so, there was people that tried. I know my brother was doing it. I know there were key people that were like, yeah, I'm here for you.
Oh, I was doing it for sure.
Great. And
Crystal was doing it even, which is really cool.
So
that was awesome. Oh, by the way, sorry.
I can't.
Let me come back.
It doesn't even matter.
No. You're talking about you the trying, and now I appreciate where you're coming from in the sense that
not to discount it.
No, you took it on as better. I think is better language is what you're saying.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
like you were like, you know what? Like that's what I'm saying, dude. You actually, I don't want to say controlled. Like you brought the room along very well, man.
I wanted to
right from when you got up there.
Thank you. That is something that I feel like. I have the opportunity to really double down and do well. People, when people talk to me, I feel like this is the David show right now. When people talk to me, I was at a coffee last week, and I had never met the guy before. And when we were walking back to the car, he's like, I was sharing all the stuff that I'm up to. He's like, man, you're up to a lot of stuff, you know, twins and podcasts and running a company and like just tons of shit. And he said, or I said something to the effect of, sometimes it can occur as a bit overwhelming, and you know, I can grapple with it sometimes. He's like, dude, I do not see that. You occur to me as such a grounded, calm, collected. Like you got this, you got your shit in the bag.
And you'll just dismiss that.
Yeah.
Dude.
But I actually didn't. I acknowledged it and I thanked him for it because I'm more present to it now, right? Like I really see what it is that who I am, period.
Dude, you know what? This is hilarious. This keeps coming back. Okay. You are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. We've heard that a lot of times, right? They say that a lot. So who are you associating her with? What types of attitudes and behaviors do they have? Like, I mean, this is kind of common sense if you think about it. Clearly, you're going to be somewhat of a product of your environment, right?
Yeah, it's hard not to. So
here's what's interesting about that, though, is the overlap in a lot of the stories that you share. Sort of like what I wrote down here is random acknowledgement. I think I met with a guy a couple of weeks ago. Like, I mean, because is this a person like you're heavily connected with? Or?
No, it's brand new connection.
Exactly. So brand new connection for me. Same day as I met this guy. Same thing. Got a couple of kids. We're homeschooling. My wife's the office manager for our construction company. I run my financial practice. We do a podcast, right? And always, always.
When you say it that way, people like go blank-eyed and go, "How the hell do you do it?"
And I go, "It's not a big like." I just. No acknowledgement. But lately, as you said, random people are showing up, and he said to me, he goes, dude, like, come on, man, like, let's get your health going, like, get some exercise, start eating better. And I've had other little random support pieces show up for that thing, my hypnotherapy, acupuncture. I'm doing these different things, and those, not only that, but the conversations I have with the people in those relationships make a difference to help with that area, right? So my health, he says, come on, man. He goes, you got kids, you got all this stuff going on. He goes, dude, you're up to big things, man. You're a young guy. Let's go, like, just eat a little bit better and hit up some cardio, man. Get your health in order. You can do this. I was just like, I've known the guy for 45 minutes.
Is he in that space?
Yeah, he's a fitness guy, and we've actually developed a bit.
So he's got that listening for people.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I did the opposite for him with the money thing.
Yeah,
I'm like,
totally.
Dude, like, you can do something.
Get your shit together.
Just rein it in. We can do this, right? But it was cool because now we have some interaction back and forth about that. And so it's interesting, and that's helped hold me accountable. But I also acknowledged in that when he was acknowledging me, I was like, you're
right.
We keep talking about creating our experience and creating our life, and we know that we're doing things, but I think we just got to surrender to the process and really realize that we actually are doing things and we are creating things. Yet there's like this holding on to what we think is reality and who we think we are in reality, as opposed to just completely surrendering to the process and to the experience and going, oh wait, I actually don't know anything about who I am.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm creating newly every day.
That's right. It's brand new slate every day.
You're going to bring those skills and different listening and all the things that you have, of course, along with your experience, but don't bring the familiarity with the personality. Like, of course I can do stand-up. I might not be any good at it.
Well, and you have no idea.
Exactly.
You just have no idea.
That's the thing, dude.
I had no idea.
It goes back to what you said earlier.
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm like super expressive right now. Like it goes back to what you said earlier. Okay, I could say to myself, well, I'm 34 years old. Like I'm listening to all these comics, right? Most of them, by the time they're 34, they've been doing it for like at least 10 years. And I'm like, oh, I'm 34 years old. And plus, it's not like I'd want to actually do it as a career. If I actually ended up getting paid someday for something like that, really cool.
But a bonus.
I want to do it just like we started the podcast for. I see it as like a release. Mm-hmm. And I'd also want to do it as another form of like an example to inspire people.
Yeah.
Like, man, I'm up here doing stand-up. And I guarantee you, if you go to an open mic night, the people who just go to watch it, there's a reason why they go to watch it. They go to watch it because they'd love to do it.
Yeah, it's like, oh, if only I could.
Yeah, anybody who watches stand-up cannot say that some part of them would love to be up on stage making everybody laugh. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in the fucking room. Mm-hmm. Right?
Well, so we just get to make it happen. Aaron, one thing I forgot to create with you we try to keep like the official podcast inside of about 45 minutes.
Okay.
Where would you say we're at, hypothetically? Best guess.
We're probably getting pretty close to that right now.
I figured as much. Yeah.
I
Anyways, I just wanted to get a sense of where we're at.
No, dude, that's great. And I want to, and by the way, Aaron, I really appreciate you being here. And as you know, it's a completely open door. So should you continue to come back, I'd love to see that we start to get to the point where we actually, you could maybe offer some of that support, like be like, guys, like wrap it up. Or if there's even like a point that if you're just hearing something, and sometimes I ramble, so because I think this is cool, creating in the moment right here. I just want to create a couple things with you guys.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Things like that, like some interaction. If you ever feel compelled, I mean, right? Because he called on you, which was awesome. But if you ever want to call on us for something, like I just want to give you the opportunity to feel free to do that.
Okay,
cool.
Good.
Yeah. And then I actually had another thought, and it's kind of escaping me for a second. So, I wanted to talk to you about a couple things because we know that we want to keep the podcast open, and it's
it's as lived, man.
Yeah, as lived. However, in honor of structure and value, I see that there's an opportunity to maybe, and these don't have to be repeated things either, but create a segment and potentially create them in the moment. Like I'll give you an example. There's a podcast I listen to. They do current events. Even when they have a guest and stuff, or sometimes they let their guest go. They're like, okay, man, thanks for being here. Yada, yada. They actually say goodbye to the person. And they're like, okay, Chin, what do you got for current events? And then he'll come at them with whatever the top, news stories are, and they'll gossip about that for a few minutes, give their opinion, then they'll go on to the next thing. So I'm not saying that necessarily, but what I see on your paper is a bunch of notes, and I've got a bunch of notes. So we could have like a Vern and Dave's finishing thoughts, or just finishing thoughts in general. It's like I'd be like, hey Dave, you got anything you want to say at the end? You'd be like, yeah man, here's some notes I wrote down throughout the show, some things that just had an impact for me, and just things to leave people with. Because
that's a really great idea.
Yeah, because I'm writing all this stuff down, and I look at it and go, oh my god, each one of these is almost a podcast, so I can't bring them all up right now. But maybe we could find a way to, because I think there's some value to share there. So that's one thing. And I think I had a couple other ideas for some segments. And also my wife actually brought this up. When we're working with Keith, which would be awesome, and I'm not sure what Aaron's capacity is. I think I had it. I think I'm figuring it out that this would be Keith's world, but we could create some sort of and this could be part of the podcast or not, it doesn't matter, but like a disclaimer or some sort of just to remind everyone that this is as lived, two dudes' opinions. This is not like advice or research or, you know what I mean? Like people are gonna be like, hey, you guys said this on your podcast, and then I put my money on black and it fucking lost, motherfucker. Like, no, that's not how this works, right? So
I love how you framed it. Two dudes with opinions.
Yeah, we're just
enter at your own risk.
And that's right, enter at your own risk. And I that's how I told people yesterday at the podcast, because the people that approached me after my message were not people that. These were people from all walks of life, and people that were much older than me, which I found really interesting, because I'm like, wow, I think I was pretty myself. I didn't drop any F-bombs or anything. But then when I spoke to each of those people, I said, look, I just want to let you know. Actually, the one lady said to me, she's like, no, I listened to your podcast. I was like, oh, okay.
Get
cool.
out.
So like, that's really cool. So, all right.
Like, that's a surprise. I don't get why that's a surprise.
Yeah, I don't know why it's a surprise either. But she was probably, I don't know, I think she said, her son's grown, so she must be, whatever, late 40s, maybe mid 50s or something like that.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
And so that was interesting. She wants to come on the podcast, and she has some things to share. And I actually think it's gonna be huge value. She was talking about using art for healing.
Yeah, art therapy.
Like,
yeah.
As soon as she said that, I'm like, yep.
Yeah, totally.
Yes, please. And so people approached me after the podcast, or after that thing, and I'm kind of getting off track here, but I'm kind of overwhelmed in the swell of the gratitude and how fun this podcast was. And I gotta say, man, my experience, I really appreciate this. You being able to just be on the podcast makes a huge difference for me.
It's a completely different energy.
Yeah.
I'm actually having to look at you. I like how I said that.
Yeah,
too.
you're having to.
I'm having to look at you and be really present inside of a dynamic that is human beings communicating.
That's right.
Versus 80%. And I now have my place to go to when I don't know what to say. I'm not sure what to do, it's an easy, it's almost like a bit of an out for me. It has been.
Right.
I put those things in my world intentionally.
Yes.
And in this case,
Nice.
Aaron's taken that from me.
Oh, taking it.
I mean, I gave it,
No, I'm
right? But
Yeah.
in taking it from me, there is this new space to be filled that I don't typically have to worry about. So it's another crutch that I got rid of.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's possible.
Remove the barriers.
Yes, I removed another barrier.
Absolutely. And you know what, man? That's the other thing that's on the same wavelength is removing barriers. I've been removing barriers out of my life as well. And I want to finish this, or at least come back to, thank you, bro. I love
welcome.
you. I appreciate you. And I know you feel the same way. Man of few words over here. This guy, man, people will drop some serious shit on you, and then you'd be like, thanks, bro.
I got you.
I got you. No, but I appreciate you, man, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what we create together with our lives, and like leaning in, dude, and just letting go and seeing what happens. You know?
Me too. I'm super excited about it, and thank you for that. I really appreciate it. It's an easy thing to kind of get. There's a way that people show up when they're being acknowledged is like awkward and dismissive, and not worthy would be a way to classify it. Like yesterday when everybody stood up, I had no fucking clue what to do with myself. It was weird. And in just standing there and being there and trying my hardest, because it was hard to like connect with people in their eyes as they're acknowledging me, it was harder than doing the talk. That's harder than doing the talk, dude.
That's amazing. And here's something I'll put on the table, because I think you and I have both experienced this, and this is all part of it. There was a point with the podcast that we realized that we were actually doing this for other people. Right. Because we started doing this for ourselves. And I think that you started that piece for yourself. And I think when you get acknowledged like that, if it's the reason why you do that and the way you're most effective is to put yourself out there with everybody else and not be inside yourself and not be concerned with yourself. So the same thing goes for acknowledgement and gratitude. When people acknowledge you, you get to put your energy over there with them and appreciate, wow, the difference that's been made in their life. That's why they're acknowledging you. Yeah. It's not even about you anymore. No, they're actually sharing about themselves. Yeah. Thank you. Right? Yeah. In a way, gratitude's sort of selfish. For someone to thank you, it's actually them sharing their story. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with being selfish, people.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's probably the most valuable, it's probably the highest value. You must be selfish. The more selfish you are, the greater you're going to be, because you're going to take care of yourself. But when you're selfish, you're like, when you're really a high achiever, you want to give it away, right? So the more you take care of yourself. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent about that. So current events, or not current events, but can we finish with this? I want to hear.
Absolutely.
I want to hear your notes.
I don't even know what I have on my list here. I think I just made notes of stuff, that good ideas for moving forward. I don't have anything here that I put a placeholder to talk about. So if you got anything, you got the mic.
Okay, not much. I'm just looking. There was one thing that I wanted to say in the middle of the podcast. You were talking about the event, and I noticed, and I'm pretty sure you knew what you were doing, but you were like breaking down the lyrics as you were telling the story. That was real. Do you know what I'm referring to?
What do you mean?
You're basically. You would say 2 or 3 words from the talk, and then you would continue right on with why you said that in the talk. Is that?
I think I need an example. I think I know what you're talking about.
Well, we'll have to when we listen to the podcast. I'll point it out. Maybe this is what we talked about too, as something. Maybe you can write this down, or we can make a note of this. So when we listen to the podcast, I'll show you what I'm talking about, and then we can come back to it and touch on it next week.
Awesome.
So that was one thing that I thought was really amazing. I'm like, wow, I think he knows what he's doing right there, but maybe not. And I'm pretty sure that's what you were doing. And it went on for a minute or two. So yeah. And I just wanted to also just put like I just wrote down certain words. The impact of story, man. When you share your story, it's so impactful. And all of this stuff, podcasting, comedy, spoken word, public speaking, all of that is just sharing story.
Yeah.
They're huge things. What was it? What do I got here? I have core outlet. What was I talking about here? Oh, like I think, yeah, at the core of the spoken word, the podcast, all this stuff, even comedy. I say that I want to do comedy as an outlet. We wanted to do the podcast and everything as an outlet, but what's actually really there, or just maybe even a byproduct, is it makes a difference.
Yes, sir.
It's so fucking cool. And the thing is like I said, that is actually infinite. Every single person can level up and do something as an outlet, and it will make a difference.
Hands down.
It's infinite. It's fucking awesome. I was so excited when I was writing shit down. I was like, and I don't even know what I was saying. Anyway, I'll come back to whatever else. That's probably good. But I wrote down here wanting to push others. So there's some stuff when I listen to the podcast I can pull what but I'm thinking about a lot of what you're doing, and it's actually a lot of what I'm doing too. When I take on a new action, when I do a Facebook Live or whatever, there is underneath it, even if it's just a specific person like yourself, or there is underneath there's a covert passion, a covert intention to make a difference, right? There's and to pull people to another level. So even the spoken word thing, I mean, for you to take that on, or if I do a Facebook Live, there's a part of me, like, I feel like I should start poking at you, because I'm just being like, hey bro, here's another one. You know, sometimes I'm like, oh, I wonder what Dave's going to say about this. And when you don't comment, I get pissed.
I do that. My share stuff with me over Instagram. I got this huge racket running around social right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got there's this big story that it's time consuming, that I'm not doing it properly, all these things. So I don't do anything inside of social. So I apologize for not commenting. I do that to a lot of people.
One more thing, man. I think I know what the title is going to be. This blows me away, actually, dude. You inspired Crystal yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Like, you really made a difference. The whole thing, even her coming down to C-Space and seeing what's going on and all the art and everything, she's like, wow, she's like, I could definitely see myself coming back here and to like these events and stuff. It was really good. I really liked it, and
That's
she was
awesome.
surprised by a lot of the things that you shared, and she got like emotional during. It was like really cool, man. That made a big difference. And I think the thing is the ripple effect of what's going on here between you and I. And as we level up, and it's not about me or you or whatever. I'm saying if my wife, as she levels up, I will, like, right? It's infinite.
There's an impact.
But the point is you and I are taking on things and leveling up the game a bit, and it's starting to get infectious around the environment. Right?
Well, we're just going to put a little a teaser as we end episode 47. There will be a slam poetry evening that we're going to put together with a few special people in Calgary.
Which got created out of nothing.
At the end of yesterday, he's like, so we're doing this.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
that's going to happen. It's going to kick ass.
For
that's
sure.
What he said.
Yeah, so Wake, I'm looking at you here and some of your connections. I think we've got a huge opportunity to create some awesome experience and magic. So episode 47, thank you, Vern, for all of your acknowledgement. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you, Aaron, for being the silent master of technology in the background. I am super appreciative of you as well. And thank you for everybody else who is listening and as part of this journey. It is only going to get better. So make sure you hang on and don't get off the ride.
Buckle up, motherfucker.
Have a great weekend.